This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast. Time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the Awesome Cast. I'm Mike Sorgat, Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA. We did a little bit of a hiatus, a week hiatus, had a little bit of a recovery from some insane travels and everything going on, but we are back in the ship shape and show shape and ready to get at it in this March 1st edition of the Awesome Cast. First of all, from Studio C in the Big D of Dormont, PA, he's the gadget guru from Big Bank International, Esquire. He's John Chichilla.
How goes it?
In Skype land, because Skype decided we don't let the bar go away anymore.
Isn't that Zoom?
Zoom, yeah, in Zoom land. I'm not at 100% from last week. So
what if you try hitting Alt F?
Alt F. Hold on a second, because I have this little keyboard thing that I control the Zoom computer with. So let's see, Alt F. Oh no, that didn't do it. It made a noise, and then you're tiny now.
Oh, then Alt F is the full screen.
Yeah. So I mean, it's already in full screen. It just says the bar won't go away anymore. So I think there's a resolution issue going on here, but that's fine. Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
What'd you do with your extra week off?
Did I don't even remember. Everything is such a blur anymore. I don't know.
I know.
We built. I know the one thing we did do. Christopher is doing Odyssey of the Mind, so he built a compressed air car. So that was fun watching him do that.
Nice.
It's like a little. It's actually a car made out of a little bit of wood, some wheels off of an old Pine Car Derby car, and then the pop bottle has like the cap on it, and we drilled a hole in it. And then hot glued a pin like you would inflate a football or a soccer ball with, and you pump that up and you pull it off, and it just shoots right across the room.
Nice. We also have in studio Brian Crawford from PGH Museums. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I got my umbrella so I can walk back home. It's supposed to rain. Hopefully we're good.
From right up the street.
Right up the street.
Right up the street.
Walked all the way here.
Good to have you here. I know you got something special to show off here.
Yeah.
In the studio. So
I love showing off
we'll
my
begin
toys.
Yes,
that's like the best thing. Coming here to me is like show and tell.
Yes.
Because anytime I come in with something, it's like I just like it might have existed for like a million years, but I'm the novice who just discovered it. I'm like, I gotta show everyone.
Let me show you all the wheel.
Yes, exactly. I've discovered the wheel.
And that's the thing. It's always been like, hey, an awesome thing does not have to be a new thing. It's just an awesome to us. Hey, I've discovered this. Hey, I started using this thing this week.
Do you want me to introduce you to this mechanical automatic watch with gears? That could have been my awesome thing this week.
Absolutely. But anyways, this is the Awesome Cast. Please check out everything at awesomecast.com. You can email us at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com, and of course tweet us at awesomecast. We have the AwesomeCast Facebook group, as well as we're over on Discord and Reddit. Links for the Discord, of course, over on awesomecast.com if you want to. And please subscribe, rate us on your favorite podcatcher, whether it be the AwesomeCast tech news and banter from Pittsburgh on your podcast feed, or the Sorgatron Media master feed that has this, as well as a few other things that we do in the Sorgatron Media realm. And we're live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, as long as I'm not sick and just bound to my bed watching old Marvel movies. And we do that 7 p.m. Eastern time every week on the Facebook page, as well as over on the AwesomeCast YouTube page that I oftentimes forget to make public because for some reason it defaults as unlisted, and we're going to fix that right now. And also we've been streaming lately on the Twitch for Sorgatron Media, and over on the Twitter page actually does have a stream if you want to get over there. And we're trying to do our best to keep an eye on the chat rooms across all of those as well as we can, thanks to some of our cool tools that we got going on over here. So thank you everybody that does check out the show from wherever you may check out the show. And I actually did not verify we're actually streaming on multiple things right now, so I should probably be sure of that too, because I know that it's been a little wonky. Oh, there we are. Oh, look. Hello, Dave Podner out there hanging out. Hello, Krause. Hello. Hey, our friend Button Push from over in Grind City's hanging out in the chat room today. So we got all kinds of crew hanging out with us. So, and you guys can also, hey, check out our friends at postindustrial.com, one of our audio partners that's getting the word out. And thank you to everybody on patreon.com/awesomecast supporting the show, our friends at the Coffee Club level. Matt Weller, John DeGore, John Carmen, Cynthia Klosky, Scott McTaggart, and Mike Pound. And at the fan of the show level, Michael Fedor, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Ponner. You guys support the show too at patreon.com/awesomecast. Every once in a while we throw something extra up there. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. Brian, let's go with you since you got the cool hands-on
my show and tell device.
Show and tell device with you this week.
So I actually brought my entire trumpet to play to show you, and Sorg's like, "No, you're not good enough." I said, "We're trying to build an audience here, not chase one away."
No. I looked at the hookups on the device, and it was going to be problematic to get it into the system this week. So
he's trying to be nice. He was like, "No, we're looking to build an audience. We don't want to chase people away." That's a disaster. And the reason why I was going to play the trumpet is because I have this cool trumpet mute. I just started getting back into the trumpet. I had played for many years, all through like grade school. Graduated high school, played a little bit after that, and then I haven't touched it in at least 10 years or more. I wanted to start playing again, but trumpet, any brass instrument, as you know, as a trombone player yourself,
I'm a boner.
Sorg. Yeah, he's a boner. Anytime you have a brass instrument, it's difficult to practice because, other people exist in the world, especially if you're in like a duplex or an apartment complex. So I was talking to a friend who also plays the trombone, and he said I should look into silent brass. He said he was interested in that. I never heard of silent brass before, so I got one. It's this mute that you stick into the end of the horn, and when you have this in there, it silences the instruments to such a low level that if you're in like the next room over and you just have a TV on at like not even a high volume, like medium to medium low, you wouldn't even know someone was playing in the other room. It's that quiet. At the end of the mute, you've got an auxiliary cable that goes out into this converter, and then you have a slot for your headphones there. Put the headphones on, and then you can actually hear your trumpet as if you had no mute put into the instrument at all. So it's really great, and it's a true representation of what you're playing. It's a little bit of a variance, but not much. And you can actually tell while listening with headphones on whether you're sharp or flat. So basically, if you're in tune or not, for people who haven't played. You can, if you're like me and your embouchure is completely wrecked because you haven't played in years, you can hear when you crack the notes, all of that. It's as if you don't have a mute in at all. It's super cool, and it's really not that expensive for what all it does. Mine was before taxes, it was like $179, I think. It's a little bit more for like a trombone or a baritone or a tuba, just because the mute is bigger and stuff like that. But it's not that much more, I don't think.
So this is and this is more. It's for that live monitoring, hearing yourself. This is not necessarily a device that's for maybe the fidelity enough for recording or anything like that, right?
I think you actually could record on it. I don't know that I would record on it for like, to sell a CD.
Yeah, probably not for like an audio professional or anything like
but
that.
It's definitely, if you wanted to record and then, I think it's a good enough quality that you could record your work and then critique it and improve yourself that way. I do think it's that high enough quality.
Interesting.
I actually ran it. It's funny. I bought this thing. I went down to I walked right here past the studio down to Dormont, got a coffee down there at the Muddy Cup, and while I was there, Slice was closed. I smelled it. They were open. They were on their way to open. I thought, oh, man, if I could stop here. But they weren't open, so I went down there. I'm sitting there. I started talking with this guy, and it turns out he's a professional trumpet player. Guess what he uses? Silent brass. He tells me he goes on trips and he actually plays his trumpet in the hotel room. And there's no complaints because nobody can hear him. It's that quiet. Crazy. Hotel room. That's not, that's so small.
Yes, trust me. I've heard interesting things through the walls in the hotel room.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or in the hallway. Very interesting things. So, yeah, no, it's like you feel like you're in a room of cardboard. It's so thin sometimes.
Yeah, and to
But
be
that's
able to play
incredible.
can you imagine playing your trombone in a hotel room and
get
no
kicked
one
out.
Yeah.
Is the end of the mute, is that like a headphone jack, and that's what's the other pieces plugged into? Does it come out, or
it goes out of the mute? So this is the end of the mute. So this is the the end. Obviously, trumpet's going in.
But is that removable? That thing
Yeah.
right there, is that okay?
Yeah. So if the cord breaks, you can just get another one.
Or plug in anything else as a 1/4 inch too, right?
Yeah, and
I was thinking
also,
like a Bluetooth transmitter. I was thinking all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, and what's cool about it too is there's an auxiliary in as well as the headphone out, so you can do all sorts of different things with this, and it has a volume control on it as well. So you can set the volume to to what works for your ears.
Partner says you can see parents loving the mute.
Yeah.
So you got to think how many kids are probably not as much as they used to coming home with instruments like this, and again I lived in the middle of nowhere. Practically my trombone was not a problem, except for my parents' ears. But next neighbor was like half a mile away, a 1/4 mile away, something like that. But for anybody in the city, yeah, absolutely.
So you brought up a great point, because when I was a kid, my dad is actually watching AwesomeCast right now. So shout out to my dad, Tim Crawford. And when I was a kid, my first trumpet was his hand-me-down trumpet. I was told that I was allowed to play one. When I wanted to play an instrument, I was told I could play one of 2 instruments. One was the trumpet, because we had the hand-me-down, and the other one was the drums, because you had a drum pad, and it would dim the noise. Well, nowadays, with technology, that's not an issue, because you can. Now, it ended up working out for me, because the only 2 instruments I wanted to play were trumpet and drums.
A little costly, but I mean, getting into it very I remember my parents had payments for it seemed like forever for our trombone. And that's why I still have it. That's why I never got rid of it, because I knew how much
it's
my parents put in
expensive,
for it, something like that.
Well, new trumpet,
So-
because I was looking to get a new trumpet, and I ended up getting like a middle of the road.
Yeah,
The top end, you're looking at like $1,000 to $3,000 for for a new trumpet. So
That's awesome. So that is the Silent Brass from Yamaha
yep.
that you can get over there. And we got a link that'll go right to the page on Yamaha for that. It's got a listing of stores where you can pick it up too. I'm sure it's probably on Amazon or something too.
It is actually. That's where I got it. Was on
Excellent.
Amazon. So
Excellent. Go check that out. Chilla, it came from under the desk.
Yeah, so I think last week I talked about, or 2 weeks ago, about the coffee mug that attached to my desk.
Yeah, I almost
this
ordered
was a-
it.
this-
I was this close to ordering it. It was sitting there in my
It's a
thing, and I'm
lovely
like,
device.
I'll put that away for now.
So this is another type of device. Also can hold your earphones or headphones. Probably even hang your trumpet off of it,
Ooh.
potentially. But it is a headphone holder, but also a USB charger. It has, so it attaches to the bottom of your desk. This does not have a clamp. You can it has adhesive, or you can use screws to mount it. It has kind of a wing formation to the coming off the left and right. Almost imagine like a 3 USB port power brick that can stick right anywhere you want under your desk. And then it has the 3 USB ports for charging. I like it because I have numerous USB devices that always seem to be running low on some type of power. And having the USB ports at your, right at your hand level is super nice. I will say, probably get some twisty ties unless you have certain cables, because I put my phone or whatever's charging off to the right here, and I don't need like a 5 foot. I don't need more than 6 inches, I guess, for most of the cables and what I'm using it for. But I also have a wireless USB headset or wireless headset that's Bluetooth that can USB charge. So it's nice to just hang it right there, let it charge off of there. Super happy with the device. The only thing I wish, I wish they made it where there was an option of let me plug it into the computer and use it as like a mini USB hub, or let me plug it into the wall and USB charge. It's really only meant for charging. You can't use it as like a USB hub.
So, I would caution the desire to do that anyways, because if what would you be plugging? Are you talking about the devices you would plug in like a phone? Because I couldn't see plugging a hard drive into something that's hanging off the side of my desk.
No, I'm thinking headset, phone, those types of devices. No, not hard drives or anything of that nature.
Okay, I dig that. So that's the Kozu. I'm
guessing it's Kozu.
Headset or COZOO. You can pick that up. It's about $22 over there on Amazon. Again, we'll have the link in the show notes as well. And of course, those are affiliate links. So we do appreciate anybody that does check through those for a little kickback for the AwesomeCast.
I really like that. That's really neat because I'm somebody, I have like cables running across the desk, and that would really clean up a lot of things. I like
Absolutely.
that.
I'm actually thinking we have an end table, and I could easily stick this up under the end table, and it would clean up. Like usually you have kind of wires dangling everywhere or whatever. This kind of solves. This could even. I mean, it could be stuck anywhere, right? As long as you have a power, a wall jack somewhere nearby.
I kind of love having that, like on the coffee table, like in the our kind of guest game pay-per-view viewing room that we have here in the studio. Like that seems like because right now I just have a power strip sitting on top of it. It's kind of unsightly, but I was just like, everybody's got whatever power brick anyways, right? So let's just make it accessible. So. Excuse me. But no, I like that. I like that. So do you have everything attached to your desk now? You got one of these and your coffee holder situation?
Yeah, and actually, I think I do. Yeah. And then I think I'm actually thinking about investing in a decent mic and mic stand. So that's probably coming in next.
There you go. Ooh,
and my keyboard tray, because my desk is just an everyday desk. It doesn't have like a under the desk keyboard tray, so maybe I should show that next week. I have because it's DeFi desk, which is like an under the desk keyboard mount.
Nice. Guys, I know you don't watch a lot of wrestling on this show, but I had to bring a concept to you that I want to describe what this was, because I just feel like that in general is going to you guys are going to enjoy. So there's this group called Impact Wrestling, and they have this digital media championship. So follow along with me. First of all, it's a digital media championship, which means typically they defended this belt to people that pay at least $1, if not $5, on the YouTube account. Okay. And there's been a couple of champions, and it's also intergender. So they have a former WWE guy, Matt Cardona, used to be Zack Ryder, taking on Jordan Grace, and they've been feuding over the last several weeks. Matt has been cheating to win the last few matches. So since it's a digital media championship, they're having that last blow-off, feud-ending match, and it's no DQ, and it's .combat. Follow along. And they actually had this on the main show too. They had it on Impact Wrestling on Access last Thursday night. So first of all, Jordan Grace comes in, and also this is because the other part of this is because Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, was one of the first that was starting to do YouTube shows as a wrestler while he was at WWE, and actually declared himself the champion of the internet, and he's brought that belt back, and he's been doing some stuff with that, right? So they're playing into like a lot of aspects. First of all, Jordan Grace, the challenger here, comes into the ring with a big DVD player that she uses. And of course, I mean, if you know how hardcore wrestling goes, it usually means I have an object that may or may not hurt, but makes a lot of noise when it hits you. And so a lot of plastic things. So like DVD players were used in this thing. As we went through, it just became a bit of a mess. But eventually, we got to the point where there are keyboards used in it. Keyboards are great, by the way. I've actually witnessed this in person. If you use like a standard keyboard with the chiclets on it and everything, if you hit somebody with it, the keys go everywhere, and it's a really cool sight to see. I'm going through the match trying to recall all the things here. There's like power cables. There's pieces of computers that are a part of this.
Wow.
There's a steel chair because of course it's wrestling. Eventually, there's a black bag. Oh wait, what was this? It was a there's this one thing she pulled out and she pulled it across. It was an extended. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find it. No, that's the keyboard. Okay. There was something that was a selfie stick. She took a selfie stick, went to extend it, and it just came apart. And so she had two little batons going on to hit them with. And I'm not showing any footage because I know that these guys are notorious for getting pretty bad with takedown notices on YouTube. So, and disclaimer, I have worked with Impact Wrestling in the past. Actually, when my anniversary on Android Photos came up. So, and I will show this one very, very, very quick clip, and hopefully we don't get in trouble for it. But there's a big black bag, and usually that means tax, right? So she gets the big black bag, and in it is cell phones. Just cell phones to throw your opponent into. There they are, all the cell phones. And of course, final move goes into the cell phones, 1, 2, 3 pin, that kind of thing. And then Chachi shared with me last night, they actually took the cell phones, and you get a nice close-up of a lot of these, and they're signing them, and I think they're going to sell them or auction them off. She has a nice little video there, and this is like, these are slide phones. These are older smartphones, it looks like. These are looks like Blackberries in some cases. There's some flip phones in there too. And I think both the competitors in the match actually ended up signing them, and they're going to do something with them. So I just really enjoyed that. Dot combat is my favorite new word in professional wrestling, and I look forward to the next person. I want to know how they got the cell phones. Did they just go to Goodwill and grab a bunch of them? Are these all 3G phones that can't be used anymore?
So that's a lot of fun, but what she could have done was stolen her opponent's phone, threw it in the match, and then gave him gave the opponent a crippling blow by calling an X or something, and started some sort of drama, and
there you go
storyline. There you go. The tip for some wrestling drama.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you see on the video, Chilla, any impressive looking cell phones as a part of this? There it is again.
I thought the one LG phone looked like the one that Tony Stark had in Iron Man 1.
That's possible. But
I was actually wrong. It looks like there was a Motorola Razr. There's some old Nokia candy bar phones.
There's a lot of Samsungs in here.
A lot of sliders.
I also wonder if these are collectively all their old phones as well. Over the years, maybe both of them.
Oh, that black! I had that BlackBerry.
Very reminiscent. When she posted, she says, "Do you see your old phone in here as well?"
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it.
I'm guessing one of those could be even a Windows phone. That HTC.
Oh, very possible.
I had one of those.
Way.
Is that the one with the stylus?
Probably.
Yeah, I had that one.
Yeah, those palm-looking phones. There's a lot of those in there.
I didn't see a sidekick.
No. That's a weapon. That would be a full-on weapon. The way that thing, you go click, click, and Chachi had one of those guys. So those are wild. And then we're reminded of another wrestler that would always come out with a selfie stick. I always loved this. A guy named Tyler Breeze. He's no longer with WWE. But when he would come out, he had this selfie stick, and it was one of those fuzzy selfie stick kind of things. And he always had the fuzzy jacket, fuzzy boot kind of thing, stylistic kind of guy, right? And making kissy faces at the selfie stick. And this is probably 2014, 2015-ish, right? And they would actually set it up so the selfie camera actually broadcast to the big screen, the big
that's
Titantron
cool.
screen. You could always tell it was over Wi-Fi and it was a little off and stuff, like, as we've used, as we've used things before. But no, that was always a very cool thing that they did. So
That is really cool.
But yeah. Oh, hey, update on that. I've been playing with using the NDI cam and everything on the old iPhone 8 Plus, which I think is still on the tripod over there. I used it for the Dungeons and Dragons, and just as a board camera, since it's again it's a little like you don't want a lot of motion on that thing, right? And it was stable through the entire night that we did. We probably did about a four hour or so stream on Thursday night for Top Rope Tabletop over IndieWrestling.us, and it was just one of the cameras because I just need multiple sources to come in because the ATEM is only like one at a time for the most part. So, but I'm just gonna throw that up there, and it's the NDX cam. I think it is the I'm going to check which one it is on here. Yeah, NDI HX camera you can pick up. That will send a video feed. If you have something like vMix, that'll take NDIs and things like that. I'd say it worked over Wi-Fi and it worked really good. I wouldn't use it on a super, super, super pro need a camera that definitely works kind of thing. But for something that was a nice little kind of thrown together stream that we did the other day, it worked out pretty well. So. Hey, you know what else works out pretty well? Our good friends at Slice on Broadway, New York City style. Yinzer made taunting the early morning traveling Brian Crawford here the other day as we discussed here. But you can grab a slice here. Make sure we grab a slice before you head out. Scooter, did you see it?
I love the scooters. I'm a big proponent.
There's somebody was scooting down. There's more scoots going. Scoots.
Yes.
There it is.
Them all.
I don't have the outside camera ready to go, or else I'd be able to show them. There's a car parked in front of it, anyways. But sorry, I don't have the mirror. I don't have the window open too often unless I have guests in here, so I don't see much anymore. Plus, my office is in the back now, so I feel less connected with what's going on up here. Anyways.
Sorg was a man of the people. Now he's got his own private office.
Yes, I got the private office in the back with the
can't bother himself to be out with the commoners anymore.
Watch the squirrels in the tree in my back window and everything like that. I can't even watch the train go by since we don't have a train because of the bridge and everything. But hey, it's our good friend Slice on Broadway, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, North Hills. SliceOnBroadway.com, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza for a good long time. Thank you to them. Okay, where the heck are we with that? Video games. We got a couple of stories here. First of all, Chilla, I did cancel my Steam Deck reservation. I finally I gave up on it.
Was there certain reasons? So I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold on.
It's just one of those. I don't need it, man. It's not even coming until like probably July at this point. And it's skeptical how many of the games I have in my library, and like I don't even have new stuff in my Steam library, and it's just I keep going back to I'm looking at screen size, I'm looking at capabilities, and I can't tell you what I could do on it that I can't really do on like other than playing natively on a phone for the most part. Like I feel like my iPhone is it, right? The cloud and everything. I feel like by the time I get this thing in my hands, I'll be playing more stuff on the cloud anyways. So, I'm loving. I'm in hotels with 3 bars of 5G, and I'm playing. I'm playing. Hades on Game Pass. I'm playing stuff on GeForce Now. Like it works very, very well on the road now. It seems. So I don't know. I don't think I'd be taking that thing with me on road trips anyways. And it just seemed like plus I pre-ordered the smallest 64 gigabyte version, which what the hell am I putting on that? so I was like, well, maybe I can cancel it. I'll reserve the other one and make sure, a bigger one. And then it wouldn't let me reserve the next one, even though the thing said I could. So it's just like, you know what? This is not necessary. I've been enjoying the reviews. The embargo has been lifted on a lot of them, and I did especially appreciate. I believe it was the Engadget review of this because they were very big on. They were very big on comparing the size and weight, excuse me, of a Steam Deck to say a bushel of bananas, or let's see if it gives me the other picture here, or a small dog. So It was the first and my favorite of the reviews that they had going on there. But yeah, generally the reviews are out, and I mean, there's a lot of complaints about being unfinished. Also, this thing is not releasing for like until Q2. Until after Q2, I think it said, right? So it's like, oh, this can come out until like July or something. If I got my timing right on that. So there was no hurry for it, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like it fit for me. And Jill, it sounded like you're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, it was kind of like and to your point, and I just heard the other day there's now a Steam app to evaluate your Steam content to see what's playable. That was the thing for me, and then I could install Windows on it, but how's it going to run? Mm-hmm. The one thing I thought was cool was they released the 3D print schematic, so you could kind of 3D print your own stuff. But
like a stand for it, I saw one guy did.
I saw the stand. I saw that like you could actually they gave if your plastic cracked or like a thumb pad cracked, you could 3D print that stuff. So I thought that was cool.
Oh, so like,
but again, to your point, like how much content.
Was that?
So you can repair your own device then with the if you have it.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. That I do like. That is cool.
That is nice. It just seemed like it felt very Game Gear to me. That very heavy, very expensive, very battery sapping kind of situation. So it just and I was interested because it's going to be a full on computer. It was a little bit of like, what else could I do with it? But it's just, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it would be worth the investment versus other things I could be getting for the studio. I'm so practical now, Brian. It's just
I'm not. I just spent so much this year. I'm like.
I just spec'd around the same price computer just to handle graphics for productions. Although and on that line, like Chilla, I've been looking at the Intel NUCs because I want something like a Mac Mini that I can put in a rack in a system that we can carry places. And the NUC seems like the closest thing I can get to something like that, and comparatively priced, because I was like, I need something that runs Windows, which means I'd have to grab an older Mac Mini at this point, right? So, and then all the problems on top of that running. I mean, to me, Windows runs relatively natively on Intel Mac, but also, how long are they going to support that? Generally, if the new ones don't support it. So I'm kind of in a bind as far as that goes. So
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
so NUC it is. NUC I'm looking at, and also I can get a rack that can put 3 NUCs. I'm not saying NUC like the Barnes and Noble NUC.
That's what I thought when you were. I'm like, I know it's not the same, but that's what kept running through my mind.
Is it NUC or NUC?
I think it's NUC. Yes.
Because it's Next Unit Computing, right?
Yeah, NUC.
Intel coined that. Yeah.
And I'm loving the idea that I can just like line these up and say, like, this is the graphics computer, this is like the stream helper computer, this computer does this function kind of idea, right? Like that's the thing I want to do. And
you should give them cool names like C3PO, R2D2.
Yeah, we can do that.
Or
that's definitely something.
Alpha, Beta, and Gamma.
I like it. I like these ideas. So versus like, we do have one with a full built rack computer with like an insane GeForce RTX computer. This thing is set up to do graphics and replays, and could probably do multiple single camera replays, capture simultaneously while we're doing this. We got a lot of computer dedicated to like 2 tasks, but that's the high end thing that we're doing the big pay-per-views with, right? So, but no, I'm looking for something kind of middle of the road to handle something for smaller shows, I guess, like the wrestling pay-per-views like we did this past weekend. Because we're using a laptop and we're having power issues when I'm in Windows 10 and it just doesn't recognize the power, and then it saps the battery because I have a bunch of stuff plugged into it, like all my adapters that I need. So we need to move to a different system to make it a little more reliable, because this is like, we've had scares before shows because this thing starts acting up and we're like, oh God, do we not have graphics for the show, right? And so that's the kind of thing we're trying to avoid. So that's why I'm looking at like, one of these setups. So we're speccing them out. I don't think I'm going to need it for another month or two. So we got a little bit of time before we get to one of those. So other gaming news, Dave Ponner shared in here, and we'll double check in with the chat room, see if anybody's got anything going on there. So Rocket League, of course, Batman's coming out this weekend, and also make sure you got your bladder control in line, because it's a 3-hour movie. By the way, I was going to see it Sunday, and then I realized the only time I could see it Sunday would not put me back here in time to watch the wrestling pay-per-view that I have people coming over for, because it's a 3-hour movie. So I'm glad I checked that and canceled my tickets before we got to it. So we'll see that some other time. But anyways, Batmobile and is in Rocket League, and of course all the accoutrement for that. So if you're Rocket Leaguing, you're down with the Batman and you like the new style, I gotta say, go ahead.
There's three of the cars, isn't there?
Is there?
I think so. I think in the Rocket League you can get 3 different versions of the Batmobile, all the way back to the one from.
Well, I think there's been some in there.
Michael
already.
Keaton.
I think there's been some. In there
Maybe that's what I saw. Maybe they were already in there.
So we're adding the 2022 version of it, and it's got all here's the wheels, the boost, the trail, the decals, the explosions, things like that. So so it is going to go along with it. I'm always open to a new Batman. I can't say that I'm terribly excited for this one, other than a new Batman.
I don't feel like there's a lot of buzz about this one. I don't know. Like, I didn't even hear about it until just recently.
Yeah. I see it because it's in front of every movie that I've gone to see.
You go to see a lot of movies. So.
I also see a lot of movies. Yeah. I did watch Uncharted, and I never played the video game.
Was it good?
I liked it. It was a nice little Tomb Raider-y Indiana Jones wannabe movie.
So I like when they do that kind of stuff, because we were talking before the show that I'm not much of a gamer at all, but I love the storylines. I love especially the artwork. I love the artwork and the music. So I love when they convert this stuff to movies, and Netflix has been doing a lot of stuff like that.
Like they did the Tomb Raider, which was based on the kind of the reboot Tomb Raider game, and I thought it hit so many of the notes perfectly, because I love the new Tomb Raider games.
Yeah.
And I'm on the second one, but they just hit the notes, and it was more about what that was, and not having a buxom Angelina Jolie sweating all over the place. Which, I mean, those were great for what they were, but also they were great for being early 2000s superhero / video game movies. You know what you're getting. When you go back and watch those, you're like, yeah, this was great for 2004. But we and I hope they keep going with the Tomb Raider movies. But they're so cinematic. I was just talking to someone last night about how I think they should check out the Avengers game, because it's getting pretty cheap. It's $20 or cheaper if you're lucky, just to play the story. You don't have to get in all the. I know people complain about the multiplayer and the microtransactions with that game, but I think it includes all the expansions if you pick it up. And I just worked my way up to War for Wakanda, the Black Panther expansion, and it's pretty cool so far, and worthwhile. Again, for me, it's part of Game Pass, but if you're a big Avengers fan and it's less than $20, just get it to play through that story. It's so good. Square Enix, same people that do Tomb Raider, same people that do Final Fantasy, right? And it's Crystal Dynamics, so it's exactly the same people that do Tomb Raider. So if you love that kind of storytelling in video games, that's the thing. And then Brian, have you ever explored this? Have you ever looked for a story playthrough on YouTube of a video game?
Oh, no, that's a cool idea.
There's a lot of those out there.
Yeah, well...
So if you're like, hey, I'd like to see what the Tomb Raider game is, but I don't want to sit there and figure out how to craft crap, and all that kind of stuff.
It's not so much that bothers me with games. It's actually the 3D camera with the quick movements.
Right.
It kind of makes me...
But you can
queasy.
go through and just hey, here's all the story points, all the story beats.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. It's just the cinematic parts.
I recently rewatched the Ghostbusters video game, because it was always touted as a de facto Ghostbusters 3, and I played it 10 years ago. So I like just to kind of be curious because I don't remember much of it, especially the later parts of the game. Because it's one of those you played for a while, you dropped down, you came back and played through it. Maybe just kind of smashed through the rest of it. So it was like 2 or 3 hours, and just while I was working one day, I just like it went through all the cinematics and everything in the story, and it was like, okay, it pieced it all together, so it made sense as much as it could without all the, in between, unless it was a necessary story point. Because I mean, you're just like, I'm just gonna battle random ghosts because we gotta fill the game, those kind of.
That's cool.
Ideas,
I like that. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
But no, look them out. Any game you're curious about, that I'm sure there's a, story cinematic video out there for them, so you can spoil the entire thing.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Yes. Chilla, have you been looking at the Chrome OS Flex that is now in beta? You can try out.
I have the one. I have some older equipment that I was interested. But the one thing I noticed, and let me know if you saw workarounds, it doesn't support the Google Play Store.
What?
So on a lot of newer Chromebooks, you can get Google Play. So you have all of the Android applications.
Right.
What I saw in the last read of this, and I didn't read the article you posted, maybe things have changed very recently. There's no access to the store. And the one thing that kind of also held me off was mileage can really vary on like Wi-Fi, especially on older devices, Wi-Fi chipsets or Bluetooth working. So just beware.
So I was interested in this because I realized that this is the extension of when Google bought Cloud Ready, which is something I've been using a lot, and actually to even more so. So Cloud Ready, if you want kind of the idea that you want to take Chrome OS was basically just a browser-based operating system, very lightweight, and put it on some older hardware, maybe to resurrect it. 2 points where I just did this with the Cloud Ready software, and Cloud Ready should be more stable than the Flex. The Flex is a new version of this that they're building up, exclusively in under the Google banner. But I believe it's going to have like part of what made Cloud Ready work, right? But you could do this now. And I've done this on multiple computers over the years. But recently I had 2 computers sitting around with older OSs that I'm just like, these computers are not useful anymore, right? There was both of them Core 2 Duos, one of them a 2007 iMac, and then I have a Dell laptop probably from about the same era. So I threw the Cloud Ready stuff on them. I'm telling you, the iMac is superb. I just feel like I'm on a newer computer with it. Open a couple tabs. It's just the computer that's off to the side on my desk, right? If I want to pull up some YouTube or some TweetDeck or something like that to have some information feed while I'm working in the home studio or the home office, excuse me. So it works so very well. And then just the Dell computer is the one that I have at my side in the bedroom. If it's like, oh, I should probably log in and see if that file finished processing at work, and go in, throw up Google Remote Desktop, and I'm good to go. It's big, it's bulky. Missy had something where she needed a desktop to go take care of something. I'm like, here, take this. Log into your Google account and you have access to everything, right? It definitely, on the Dell laptop, if I open like 6 to 8 tabs, it'll start to pause for sure. So like you have to be mindful if it's the older hardware. And even this article is really kind of talking about like older Macs, right? Like maybe things that are a little older that are just outside of, again, I couldn't put a new I couldn't put a new Safari on there. I couldn't put anything new on that iMac because the OS stopped at a certain point for a few years ago. So I was like, well, this makes it useful, and I'm always having fun just kind of seeing what I can throw them on. It will not load because it pauses because there's only 1 gigabyte of RAM. You need at least 2 gigabytes of RAM, gigabytes of RAM. the netbooks, the Gateway netbooks I have from like 10 years ago,
yeah.
because they all have 1 gigabyte of RAM.
You should see if it'll. You should look up the specs on those and see if you can upgrade them to 4 gig.
I'd be interested.
I'm interested to play around with this myself. I have an old Mac Mini that's ancient.
I have a box of old 4 gig memory sticks from old laptops. So if that is, I can probably give you the RAM. You
that
just
might
gotta
be
get it in
worthwhile.
there.
I'll have to plug it in the crucial.com and see what it's got going on. So, no, it's definitely worthwhile. And the nice thing is you can throw it on a USB drive, try to load it off the USB drive before you install. And then once it's loaded up and you see that it kind of works, you can install it to the drive. You can't dual boot. They deprecated the dual boot option, probably because of new standards with Windows and Macs get a little weird with the EFI stuff. You know, some of the stuff are like, you know, probably like some of that technology we were talking about with like Windows 11, that with bootability and things like that. So I
have a question. Does that jeopardize organizations like Ubuntu's ability to operate? Because a lot of people do like dual boots with Linux.
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't kept up on it. So, but yeah, I went and grabbed I was given a Mac Mini, like the old like white CD drive.
Oh wow!
And it's an Intel. And I was like, I wonder if I can throw something on this. Oh, wait, what did I do with this? And I booted it up, and it's still running Ubuntu. And I'm like, oh, this already got some stuff on it, you know?
Ubuntu's nice.
It is. I'm like, this is, and I could tell I loaded it up, and like the drivers don't work for like Wi-Fi, right? And that's the thing with this, you know, if you're using a lot of random, you could load up this Chrome OS just like when you're loading like old Ubuntu installations, which Ubuntu is a variation of Linux that you can get that's pretty user friendly if you can get it installed. You know, don't need to know the command line or anything. Nice graphical interface. But you know, not everything is supported with something like the Cloud Ready OS X, Chrome OS. Excuse me. So there's options, but it's nice that you can. You know, it's nice to be able to resurrect some of this old hardware and make it useful thing. I need the equivalent for my old iPads, like my iPad 1 and my 3, because right now, you know, it's just like hopefully something loads in the browser. I actually have an iPad 3 sitting at my desk that I literally just bring up my calendar and that's it. So just for something, and then I have an old Android device that I pull up YouTube to see if my 24/7 wrestling feed is going. It doesn't look good, but it's going, you know. So again, like it's an Android 4 device, and it's not going to go any further than that. It's one of these like, you know, Verizon Inspiron, you know, tablets that they were selling for the longest time. So, but you know, always interested to see what we can get out of these kinds of things. So, let's see what else we got here to chat about. TikTok expands maximum video length to 10 minutes. I have not seen this on mine. I tried to upload the 3-4 minute Just Pro Wrestling News podcast today, and it did not work. So I'm waiting for it to click over on my account because I'd love to not have to make a whole new version of that to stay under 3 minutes. We're already 5 minutes or less. Let us have our 2 minutes, okay, guys? I don't know if I'm going to sit there and watch a 10-minute video. I just know a lot of people's bathroom breaks are about to get a lot longer.
So you just basically said what I was thinking. I think the key
that we all watch TikTok in the bathroom.
Well, I don't. I have the app. I don't even know how to use it. I'm like an old man with TikTok, and someone sends me a video, and I'm like, how do I get out of this? And I end up closing the whole thing to get out. So I'm the wrong person to ask. But from what I understand about TikTok it is those quick videos where you can just go through real quick and see a bunch of things. I almost feel like a 10-minute video, I almost feel like that's a step in the wrong direction for that company. I feel like that's why kids like it, is because they can just, you know, it's creative because you have to do something within 3 minutes. So, you know, it's funny. I feel like sometimes, you know, less is more. And I feel like that's going to be the case with TikTok. That's why TikTok's not YouTube. And I feel like they're going more in that direction, and then. But
everybody does. I mean, Instagram was just a photo app, and now it does all these other things, right? That look like a lot of other apps.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, this is everybody starts. I mean, Twitter was just text messaging basically to begin with, and now it's grown into all these other things that it thinks it needs to do. And now I'm paying $3 a month so I can have a 30-second window to realize I spelled something wrong in my tweet.
Yeah.
Because the news stuff is almost useless for me. Because I go to what's everybody talking about on Twitter? All the wrestling shows that I already know about. Because that's all anybody talks about on my Twitter. Because that's what I've curated on my Twitter, right? So sometimes I forget maybe my Twitter should be more than wrestling. So
I don't even know when the last time I've tweeted is. I think the only time my Twitter gets any action is when I come on this show and you drop it, on the info, because I don't know when when the last time I've tweeted is.
But this is rolling out. It looks like it's going to be for big creators first. So, but eventually in the next probably month or so, you'll see it pop up, and I can throw my videos up. So Potter's saying, and I think to this says he follows a lot of nutritionists and viral doctors. So this actually would be a big help if they had a little bit longer to talk about it.
That's true.
So, and also he says you can have a nuck and go full Three Stooges. Oh, we can label, we can name the Three Stooges in the rack, right? Larry, Curly, and Moe. And be like, no. Use Larry to cue the graphics. You use Moe to stream, and then you pull up a browser on Curly, right? Depends on which era of the Three Stooges, I suppose. Jim over on Fishing Without Bait's a big Three Stooges fan. So, but anyways, let's see what else we got here. So we got the TikTok guys. Brian, I know you said you bought 2 of these? I bought 1 of these.
I bought 2.
This is fantastic. Of course, we tend to... Okay. All right, I need to read this article. I need to read the way they put this. They said, so this is the West Jefferson Hills School District has a club that apparently is a business club that deals with 3D printers. Okay? And they did a bus level because they said basically, hey, isn't it funny how our buses end up not level in this city? There's and then they've superimposed, it's a 3D printed Pat bus with a level inside because our buses ain't level. This one's hanging from the crane coming out of the bridge that collapsed a couple weeks ago, right? Let's see if it'll let me go to these other ones here. Let's see. It comes in 4 colors: blue, yellow, I'd say Pat bus yellow, white, and red. And there it is, sticking out of the sinkhole. The what?
The sinkhole.
The sinkhole over there downtown. So yeah, they had a lot of fun with this. I'm hoping they're selling a ton of these things. They're $10 including shipping if you want to pick one up over there. And the link is of course in this article, and I think it's the only thing on the site that they're doing. So I just want to put that. And also along with this, have you seen? I got to see this because I got a membership to the FIPS because I was like, oh, I've never been to the FIPS. We're doing this.
Wait, you've never been to FIPS?
Not before January of this year, no.
Wow.
I've never been to FIPS.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It was on the checklist. And then, of course, with COVID, it was like you got to get a membership in order to really get in. So I just went ahead and got the membership for the 2 of us. It was like $80. So we'll go a few times. It'll be good. So I wanted to see the Christmas stuff. Missy had some issues, some ailments that she's been working on through the holidays, so we didn't get to go until like the first week of January, unfortunately. But they have a train there, and in there they do have the bus in the sinkhole on the train set. So I appreciated that as well. And my sister-in-law and brother reminded me in the comments of this over on the Facebook group. So, but go check that out. It's West Jefferson Hills School District. And it's posted on one of the posts over there. If you're checking that out, of course, we'll have the link to the post over on the show notes for this show. So, it's pumpkin time, Chilla. I'm not used to this. I'm off for a week, and I forgot how the show goes.
Real quick, though, what do you think about the TikTok expanding their video length?
I think it's... I think it starts getting away from what works with TikTok, but then again...
I agree. I wish, and I'm sure they won't, but TikTok, if you're listening, I want a filter that lets me say only show 2-minute videos or less.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Now there's already live, which obviously
Yeah,
you're
and
gonna
I've
be
seen
more
live, and I'm okay. I guess I'm okay with live because I feel like that's point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And while the live comes up in my feed, I'm not gonna lie, I just scroll right on by.
You know what? To be honest, you'll probably notice it's a 10-minute video and flip through them, and it won't share them to you. I think it'll naturally happen. To be honest,
That would be nice.
so I think that would be it. So we'll see what happens with that with our TikToks. Brian Crawford, thank you for joining us. Where can
Thank you.
people check out stuff that you're working on?
pghmuseums.org. We're right now we're working through updating the directory, and stay tuned. We're going to be releasing a supporters program where you can support the work that we are doing, and we'll be sending postcards to your house with artwork and all
Nice.
sorts of cool things.
Nice, right? Doing good. Ramping things back up here post COVID.
That's right. Yeah, that's the thing. It's now things are starting to open back up, so we're getting the calendars getting back together, and as
Nice.
more events are coming out, and yeah, it's gonna be great. And people are excited. We, with COVID, nothing's going on, but our Instagram has been going through the roof. Just organically, we haven't really been posting in much because there hasn't been much going on, and despite that, it's been growing like weeds. So I think there's definitely an interest in what's cool. You go there, if you click the directory, you'll find more than 400 listings of places to see right here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and a lot of them are free.
There you go. Go check it out. If you're like, what the heck do I do around here? This is it, pghmuseums.org. We'll tell you that. And, of course, John Chichilla at Chilla on the tweeters.
John Chill on the Facebooks.
There you go. And I am an action figure over at Sorgatron on all the social medias. I've actually had it for a while, but I finally, with the newer camera, since I got the macro photography, I realized I should take new pictures of the D&D minifig that they made of me for the Top Rope Tabletop group. As a little thank you for helping them out. And so that is now my emoticon for or my profile for a lot of my social media, because I just think it looks cool. And a lot of my wrestling friends are getting their action figures, whether they work for WWE or AEW. We were getting a couple of them because we're like, hey, people we know as an action figure, how cool is that? So I thought it was like, hey, at least I do have my own custom me figure that you can that is now just my persona now. We're just going with that. It is so well done. It is like me with a microphone, and I think I got a recorder or something like that. I'm trying to bring my thing up, but it's not working.
Plus,
right
how
now.
cool is it to have your own action figure, like a likeness of yourself?
Yeah,
That's super cool.
It's a very tiny action figure. It's more like it's a fig, so
There's that store in Shadyside, Crazy Card, I think it's called, or something.
Mm-hmm.
They have Jesus the action figure and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Next, they're gonna have Michael Sorg the action figure.
There you go.
hanging there
With
on the shelf.
My sweet graying
Sold
hair.
out all the time. No one will be able to get it because
I got my camera bag. You know what? I want a hoodie like that. Can I find a hoodie like that? If anybody can find me that purple and gray hoodie situation, I really kind of want that in my collection. And do I got a utility belt or something like that? Look at this, and a boombox.
The Batman of
I love it.
podcasting.
I love it. I forget what it was. There's a website you can go to, and you can make a minifigure of your character and stuff, or yourself, and it'll get done. Hero Forge. I think we talked about it ages ago. I think when they first came in. So, but anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Dave Potter and everybody else hanging out in the chat room. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Please share the show with your friends. Especially if we get some topics you think would be interested in them. Moms love us. Mine does. So
Mine was on the show.
Yours
She was watching.
yours is in the chat too. Yes, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, you've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.